Hello. Welcome. Alright, so today we are continuing on with the trial for episode 5, which is the last trial of the first part of this collection. Because this collection is made up of the 2 games that make up the entire Great Ace Attorney series. So last time we only did part 1 of the trial, but we also had another session where we did the entire investigation section of the trial, which was about 5 or 6 hours. So we're breaking it up in parts, just as a recap. I did part 1 on Tuesday. The VOD is up for that if you watch that. And then today I'm doing part 2. Tomorrow I will be doing part 3 and 4 with Kiro once again. So if you wish to catch up on things, I believe the VODs will be up for a little while before they go down. And yeah, if you want to get caught up, just check them out. But enough of that. Let's get into part 2 today. Last time it was about an hour 30-40, so should be about the same today. And then on Friday it should be about 3 hours, I think. Maybe. I was informed that it's about like 8 hours in total, so it'll be 6, and then those 2 together would probably be another 3, so maybe, yeah, we'll see.
Order, please. Let us resume proceedings. Witnesses, you will now retake the stand.
Oh, right. So, I guess we have to re-cross-examine these 2 bumbling buffoons.
I presume you heard the defense counsel's summation examination?
Oh, yeah, Governor.
I did, Gov, I did.
Mr. and Mr. Skulkin.
God blimey.
This is gonna be hard work. Earlier in this trial, you gave the following testimony about your actions after you entered Windybanks.
Well, it was bedlam soon as, weren't it?
It was, Nash, it was. Didn't even have time to pull me out dukes out from me bloody lockets.
However, that was a lie. You brothers.
Caw!
Blimey.
On the night in question, you rifled through the items on the victim's counter.
Wait, that's so.
How'd you figure that out? You will now give formal testimony once again. You will tell the court precisely what happened on the night in question, and this time you will tell the truth.
Each lie that passes your lips serves to increase the severity of your punishment. Sorry, it's gonna take me a little bit to get back into it today. And that gentleman, may deal a crushing blow to your chances of ever seeing the light of day again. A thought worth pondering, perhaps.
Say no more, Gov, we hear ya.
We'll blab, we'll squeak, we'll preach.
The whole truth, huh?
Alright, we did knock a few things over, but we weren't rifling for nothing.
It was when we heard the gunshots, see, and made us both jump and all that stuff went flying.
And Lummy didn't give me a fright. We was thinking the shooter would come out of the door and get us next.
We stuck everything back where we found it, scampered straight into the black.
No, straight into the back. Fuck, it's so hard to read some of these.
We couldn't have shot the pawnbroker, say? We never even had a chance, did we?
So you admit to the defense's accusation. You did indeed ransack Mr. Windibank's countertop on the night in question.
Not ransack, Governor, no.
That's right, Nash, that's right. It's, more like we tied it up. Yeah. Sorry.
By their own admission, these brothers entered the pawnbrokery under dubious circumstances. However, they panicked and fled on hearing the gunshot, having first made good their mess.
The way you say it, we hardly sound like Russ at all.
We don't, Nash, we don't. Got to make us sound a bit more, cutthroat.
It can't just be coincidence that these men showed up at Windibank's that night. There's more to their testimony than meets the eye. I'm sure of it! AKA, I'm gonna press every statement.
Hold it!
If that's the case, then why didn't you testify to that effect in the first place?
Well, you know, we ain't exactly squeaky clean, are we?
We ain't, Nash, we ain't. If we admitted to something like that, people would think we was up to go good.
Well said, Ringo, me old China. We'd only land ourselves in even more trouble.
And in fact now, as a result of lying in your previous testimony, that's exactly what you've done. Landed yourselves in even more trouble.
That's, rotten luck.
Says the rotten apple eater. Witnesses, explain your actions to the court. Why did you ransack the victim's counter?
We never ransacked nothing.
Right, Nash, right. We're more like we, tidied the place up.
Oh,
Sorry.
wait. Oh, it's Ringo. Yeah, he was like,
Sorry.
that's when they heard the gunshot. So what do they mean by that? Okay. So what you're saying is, the sound of the gunshot shocked you so much, you knocked all those things off the counter?
Well, he shocked one of us that much, yeah. This bag of nerves needs to learn to keep his shirt on.
Look, it was loud, alright. Blimey, me dead granny would have woken up at the bang.
Big brother screamed like a bloomin' blighty baby and fell over on the counter. He knocked over a load of books, a candlestick, and skull whatnot.
I got tangled in some marionette, what knocked over a picture frame, what knocked them scales on the floor.
You've really mastered working quietly then.
What a racket! Me granny would have been scared back to her grave at a clout like that.
So in short, the gunshot took you by surprise.
And then some! I mean, it was quiet as a mouse, and then all of a sudden, BAM!
Gregson did not like that, apparently. He's, really chowing down.
Excuse me.
Inspector Gregson! Do you have something to add?
Like I keep saying, I don't appreciate being lumped in with these scoundrels.
No. Something to add about their testimony? You seemed to react just now at what Mr. Skulkin said. Did it make you think of something?
It's probably nothing, of course. I wouldn't even bother to mention it. Only, well, the fact is, cases don't get solved if you ignore the little details.
How about you just tell us what's on your mind?
As you know, we brought these fellas into the yard for questioning last night.
And the statement they gave then told a slightly different story to what they're saying now. Did it? You claimed you heard the victim shout something out before the gunshot.
Hi, Beb. Welcome.
Might have, does ring a bell now you mention it.
Granted, it's only a minor detail, but still. Can't help feeling like perhaps you've been a bit sloppy with your testimony here, eh, fellas?
Damn, now I want fries. Right, like, the fish and chips that Gregson always carries around, it's like the really good looking potato wedges too. And like the fish looks really well battered and like not over crisped and like not soggy. It looks good. I want to eat it so much.
If I discover the witness's testimony has been any more sloppy than it has hitherto proven to be, I shall be forced to bring the very harshest punishment to bear against them.
Easy, easy.
We'll get it right this time.
That's it? Yep, it's all coming back to me now, yeah, you see?
Feast on the fish and chip.
Exactly.
Then speak. Supplement your testimony with whatever details have miraculously returned to your questionable minds, sirs.
Right you are, Governor.
Alright, so we got more details from that. So before the gunshot, they heard a voice yelling out, "Give me that gun!" But who?
Hold it!
Who yelled that? So in fact, you heard the voice and the gunshot almost simultaneously?
We did, Gov, we did.
Although I suppose if you're being honest, you had a kind of wavering voice before the yell and all.
If you don't want to get shot,
Give me that gun!
bam!
Holy shit.
Kind of thing.
A career in acting. Tragically missed. And where were the voices coming from? Could you tell?
Course we could, from the other side of that door beside the counter it was.
From the storeroom, where the victim was found dead. And the voice you heard, it was that of the victim, Mr. Windibank.
On my granny's life, course it was.
On Granny's life, course it was. Was.
So, that would mean that you both knew Mr. Windibank and the sound of his voice?
Yeah, so that would mean what?
What? Nice, what? Any, ideas? Yes, Counsel. Indeed it would.
Nah. We didn't know the geezer.
How am I supposed to deny when the bloke in all the fancy club are giving us the real evil eye?
If you value your lives, you will ensure your testimony is accurate and true.
On my granny's life, it is,
Oh, and I'm like, on his granny's life, it must be.
It's a good job his granny's... It's a good job his granny's dead. To summarize, then, immediately after hearing the voice of the victim, you then hear the gunshot, causing you to stumble and upset the items on the counter, scattering them over the shop floor.
You make it sound like we're clumsy.
And don't forget we tied it up after like good little boys. Anyway, the way I sees it.
Okay. Has this all been just the same state? Oh, okay. Just before the gunshot, we heard the voice saying, "Give me that gun." The bloke owned the place is holding a gun. So he should have just fired instead of yelling at the girl? What?
Hold it!
Sir? What? You're saying that Mr. Windibank had a gun in his hands?
Oh yeah, bet there was a sight, eh? Them two waving them guns at each other. Musta got pretty heated. I mean, just before he shouted, we heard the geezer say, "If ya don't wanna get shot."
Didn't really sound like he meant it, mind. More of an empty threat, you could say.
Mr. Windibank was known to keep a revolver on his shop counter at all times. People say that to protect the articles in his keeping, he'd readily put a bullet in someone's head if required. That's someone being himself, of course.
Good grief! Extraordinary devotion indeed, if alarmingly misguided.
Well, he certainly sounded like he was ready to pull the trigger the other night. Only the person he was gonna shoot beat him to it. Cooked his goose proper.
But he wish he squeaked the trigger instead of wasting time shouting, "Give me the gun, eh?"
And it was directly after those words that you heard the gunshot?
It was more or less at the same time, Gov. Give me that gun. Bam!
Kind of thing.
Yes, a career in acting very tragically missed.
Then we heard the sound of someone hitting the deck. Before everything went dead quiet.
After that, we'd done a slapdash job titling the place up.
Are they patty caking? You bet they are, Meteorite. Also welcome. They're patty caking. They're doing their secret handshake. You know. They got a crew. They got their Skullboy crew. Apparently, they're missing one dude in their family, so they don't know where he is. But Gregson is reluctantly standing in for them at the moment. We stuck everything back where we found it, and scarpered right back into back. And then they said we couldn't have shot the poem broker. See, we've never had a chance, did we? However, they did mention he was holding a gun, but like, I don't know. We have evidence of the contrary, unless I'm like, going like way too early on this. Nope, this sounds right. You're saying that on the night in question, the victim, Mr. Windibank, was wielding a gun? Is that correct?
That's it, Gov. You got the picture.
Yes, Nash. Yes. No question.
And yet the photographic evidence from the time of the incident clearly shows that Mr. Windibank was not in possession of a firearm of any description.
Objection!
You surprise me. Does the defense really intend to highlight evidence that compromises the position of the accused even more?
Furthermore, the defense has failed to establish that the photographic print presented was taken a suitably short time prior to the victim's death. Your chronology is severely lacking, counsel.
Yeah, that's right.
Too right, Nash. Too right. The old geezer could have been about to turn the tables on the girl, eh?
Hardly likely.
No, I'm afraid this won't stand as conclusive evidence. Continue with the cross-examination, counsel, and heed my earlier warning, witnesses.
A skulkin's never skulkin'.
Oh, and he also...
Or skulkin's never skulkin'.
Apparently that was not the statement I was going for. He didn't give me a fright. He was thinking the shooter come out of the door and get us. Okay, so we might as well just keep pressing. So, you didn't try to open the storeroom door then?
Not on your life.
It went deathly quiet after that, it did. Put the wind right up me. But anyway, the door was locked, weren't it? No way, that was open. Oh, that was opening.
Yes, of course. It was locked from the inside, or so we've been led to believe.
It was, Gov, it was, from the inside.
Right.
Oh god. My voice cracked.
Right. So we had no way of knowing what was going on in there, did we?
Unless there was some other way to get a view of the inside of the storeroom. Like, through the keyhole or a spy hole, perhaps?
Don't ring no bells.
Don't light no lights,
We've had a cut and run.
Run and cut before we notice anything like that.
We're still cutting our teeth in this game, see? But one day, we'll really cut the mustard.
Please, cut it out. But alas, as we know, behind that door was the victim's lifeless body, with the accused not 2 feet away. Yes, unfortunately. Gina was in there, unconscious, with the gun in her hand. To confirm, would it be correct to say that neither of you set foot inside the storeroom?
That's right, Gov, that's right.
Couldn't have even if we wanted to, eh?
Hold it!
Alright, so we stuck everything back. Yes, whereupon you fired a shot from your own gun at Mr. Herlock Sholmes.
Oh, yeah, we was a bit hasty there.
We was nice, we was. Truth be told, I was already shaking like a leaf when your lot turned up.
If you're shaking like a leaf,
Oh god, I can't. My high voice.
if you're shaking like a leaf, don't put a loaded gun in your hand.
Good advice, this, good advice.
Truth be told, my mind went totally blank.
Oh my god, it's so hard to switch between their voices and higher.
Before your mind goes totally blank, make sure you don't have a loaded gun in your hand. Mental note made, miss.
After that, we legged it down the street, but, apparently we looked dodgy to the coppers or summit, so they clapped the dobbies on us like wheatin'.
And after you've been handcuffed, the police found this revolver in your possession, correct?
Well, yeah.
But listen, that proves it. Done it, eh?
We couldn't have shot the pawnbroker. We didn't have a chance. Are you sure? And why should we believe that?
Heh? What? Well, 'cause it's true, ain't it?
The place was totally empty when we went in.
At that time, the victim was already in the storeroom, having been forced to open the door by the accused who had a gun to his head. In other words, on the night in question, these 2 witnesses never even laid eyes on the proprietor of the pawnbrokery, Mr. Windybank. Correct.
You got it, mister.
Down to a T.
So the Skulkin brothers never actually encountered Mr. Windybank. Is that really true, I wonder? That's it? That's the full extent of their testimony?
What is it, Bruno? You look very fierce. I could pour you some herbal tea if you're tired.
Oh, thank you. But I'm fine. Being such a logical thinker, you'll probably laugh. But I feel as though these brothers are still hiding something. Something important. It is nothing more than a feeling, though. I have no proof to support it.
Well, feelings can be very logical at times.
Sorry?
People's expressions, the movement of their eyes, the words they choose. You can take all that in, and your brain will quietly analyze it to come up with a feeling like you describe. You've concluded that there is something suspicious about this testimony without knowing why. That's all. I think you should trust your instincts.
Iris. Thank you. Sometimes, I think if she's 10 years old, I must be 5. They knocked a few things over, they weren't rifling for nothing. Just before the gunshot, we heard a voice yelling out, "Give me that gun." And then they said the bloke who owned the place was holding a gun, and then I did this one, but... Redemption ticket, used for that. Unpublished, nope. This is from the other case. Scotland Yard confirms death. Nope. Bullet. The gun belonging to the victim, Mr. William Bank, was holding when she was found unconscious. There are signs of a single discharge, and they also discharged. So the lamp definitely broke, and that's a given. So I wonder if... Did they let me redo the image then? Or are they just explaining it again? I think they're just explaining it. Yeah, I think they're just explaining how stereoscope works again. So if I press the... do this, does it let me open it? Oh, and... Yep, it's just commenting on the device again. You boys love pressing buttons, don't you? Especially if you don't know what to do. Says the 10-year-old girl. Anyways, now you can see that it really is a stereoscope, can't you? So can I place my prints on this? Still? Oh, I guess I just can look at it. Do we have anything interesting in here? Well, we have the green blood, which is really baffling to me still. Unless it's Sholmes. My brain is just... I'm just not sure if I have to, like, repress statements again or something. Because that was the case in one time when I went through one of them, where it was like, I pressed everything, and then I was like, oh, I don't have anything to work with. And then it turns out I had to press a statement again, and then someone reacted, so... So they stuck everything back where they found it, but then... Oh. Yeah, it's really weird when they do that, but what can you do? So they knocked things over, but they weren't rifling, supposedly. And just before the gunshot, they heard a voice yelling out, "Give me the gun." Come for us out the door and get us next. Well, they did put everything back, it's just... But how did they know he was holding a gun?
Hold it!
Well, I'll just try to pass the statement again. So yeah, he said you had a gun in his hands. Oh yeah, I bet that was a sight. The two of them waving guns. Oh, okay. They didn't see it, but they're just saying it there. Don't want to get shot. Did it really sound like in mind? More of an empty threat. Okay, yeah. Because Winterbank always presses it to his head because he's fucking insane. Sounded like that was ready to pull the trigger the other night. Only the person he was gonna who beat him to it cooked his goose. I wonder if like well, I mean, I already read through all the dialogue, so like maybe I'll just press through and see if there's a reaction on any of them again.
Hold it!
Just to be safe. So they're just talking about they were like, oh, we didn't look for anything. And they're just like, we got caught by accident because we're stupid. Yeah, nothing reacted there, but I did get a statement changed, so I feel like I have to use it somehow. But I'm not thinking of what evidence I'm supposed to present if that's the case. So they heard the voice, and then they're talking about the don't want to get shot thing. So they can hear from the storeroom. And the voice they heard was that the victim, Mr. Windybank. But how do they know that's what Windybank sounds like? I still like these poses, though. It's so funny. You both knew Mr. Windybank and the sound of his voice. Yeah. So, like, how do they know? And it's like, yeah, that would make sense. And he's just like, nah, pshaw, and he's just like, how are we supposed to pretend that's not right? And he's just like, bruh. So after that, causing you to stumble and set the items and counter scattering on the shop floor. Don't forget, we tied it up after like anyway, the way I see it. I'm that one meme of the people on the couch every time Zeke shows his face, like... I see what you mean. Oh man, my brain. It's in his back though, too. That's what makes me unsure. Photograph taken automatically by the red-handed recorder showing a scene before the murder took place. And I present this like, well, this is like the different time frame when they were. But like, it was only like 30 minutes after, so like, what do they mean? Look what owned the place was holding a gun, so he should have just fired and said, man, I'm so confused. He was thinking the shooter come out of the door and get us next. But like, why would they think that ever?
Hold it!
Yeah, so you're saying that Windybank had the gun in his hands. And then they're like, yeah, I bet it was a sight. They must have been doing that. Well, and then like, he's saying like, that's what he says when he's gonna shoot the gun at his head like an idiot. And they're like, it sounded like he was ready to pull it. The only person that was gonna shoot him beat him to it, and then give me that gun. It was more or less the same time. Then we heard the sound and everything went dead quiet. After that, they tied the place. But yeah, this is the line that changed. So I feel like something here is important. Just before the gunshot, we heard a voice. But do I have anything for that? I'm just dumb. I might be really dumb. Fiction is what I was suppressed result in acquittal, but that's the other case. Is it are they trying to make me use the autopsy report? Because they're acting it out, but then like they're doing it from a front position, but they don't know because it's in the back room and it's a bullet wound from the back. So like, how do they know? Ugh, my tiny brain. And then I don't see anything like particularly unique about the gun right now. Like, I don't see any like extra evidence on it. But what is it? What am I missing? This is 1 AM. And this is afterward at 1:30. But everything's already retidied by then. But how did they know Mr. Windybank was there? This is the box. Is there anything else in this newspaper I missed?
Pawnbroker perishes in pickpockets plunder. How awful.
Oh no, yeah, I do remember reading this. Okay, yeah, so the only detail that this gave me was that there's government information being leaked. And that's what was happening with Gregson and what he was researching earlier, so... Yeah, and I do know that the bullet wound came on the back. And then there's no signs of other trauma. My brain is so tiny, I'm so sorry. Just before the gunshot, we heard a voice yelling out, "Give me that gun." And then he was like, the bloke what owned place was holding a gun, so he should have just fired instead of yelling at the girl. But like... Four paper for Scotland Yard Coroner is... Yeah. Before the murder taking place, after the murder had taken place. So in the time between here, that's what their story is trying to suggest. Oh, actually, if you ship between the two photos, you can actually see the boxes and stuff slightly moving. That's actually something I didn't even realize you could do on the mini portrait. Corner of instant death, room from the back. I keep pressing this one just because I'm so confused. We did. Although he's supposed to be honest, we heard a kind of wavering voice before the yell and all, because... And it's coming from the storeroom. And the voice you heard, it was the victim, Mr. Winterbank. I mean, Granny's life. It's Granny life, so of course. You both knew him and the sound of his voice. And they're like, what do you mean by that? But, man. Photograph taken automatically showing the scene after the murder, but then before, and then my brain. No, but they said it was simultaneously that they heard it, too. If they were struggling over the gun, why would it be in his back? In the form of some handwritten notes in the paragraph. Well, we haven't heard bad evidence before. Yep, there we go. Let's just do this bad declaration. There's clearly something odd about that last statement made by the witness.
There is clearly something odd here indeed. Your behavior, Counsel!
Oh, please, don't mind me.
That would be significantly easier if you would lower your hand.
I won't lower my hand until I prove my client's innocence. As long as it's quite quick. My brain. Okay, so this is just exactly the same. The words they choose, you can take them all in and brain quietly. Hey, Brian. What's up? How you doing? I'm, having trouble figuring out what I'm supposed to be pressing on here. I'm not really too sure what I'm supposed to be doing. Trial. What do I do? Chilling online after cooking curry. Ooh, nice. Curry good. What kind of... Did you make chicken curry? Or was it like beef curry? I hope it was good.
Hold it!
Oh, I didn't mean to do that. My hand. So they didn't try to open the storeroom. Not on our life. Put the wind right up me. But anyways, the door is locked. There's no way it was opening. Of course, it was locked from the inside. So it was Gov. It was from the inside. No way of knowing what was going on in there. Don't ring any bells. Don't ring any lightning bells. We're outcoming our time. Okay. We're still doing that. Really cut the mustard. Beef curry with the curry blocks and 1 garam masala style. Ooh, that sounds really good. Yeah, so we already know it was Mr. Wendebank's own revolver that killed him. Am I supposed to present the crime scene instead of the autopsy report?
Objection.
Oh, it was that. Oh god, that took me forever to figure out. Jesus. Alright, back to voice acting. So you're saying that on the night in question, the victim, Mr. Windebank, was wielding a gun. Is that correct?
That's it, Gov. You got the picture.
Yes, yes, no question.
And yet, photographic evidence obtained immediately after the incident shows that Mr. Windebank was not holding a firearm of any description. God, I can't believe it took me forever to figure out that I was supposed to use this stupid photograph here.
Hey, you what?
Goyin' Bennett, that ain't right.
Objection!
There certainly can be no question that the victim's revolver was used in the incident. I would remind the court that Mr. Windebank's gun was found at the scene. Not only was it identified as the murder weapon, but it was found in the accused's hand.
Yeah, that Multula used the victim's own gun to finish him off. Give me that gun.
Bam! Got a thing.
Hold it!
Stay exactly where you are. Right there.
Eh?
If the crime had taken place as you've so colorfully described in your testimony, it would give rise to an undeniable and significant inconsistency in the final moments you just acted out.
Goodness! Are you sure, counsel?
You intrigue me, my learned friend, but let's see some evidence to support your claim. Where is the proof that demonstrates this inconsistency in the witness's portrayal of the victim's final moments? Well, I mean the autopsy report that I presented earlier. According to their testimony, the witnesses claim to have heard a shout of, "Give me that gun!" followed by the gunshot.
Indeed, with the two events happening almost simultaneously, or so we've been led to believe.
Yes, that's right. Now, if that testimony is true, it would mean that at the moment of death, the victim and his attacker would have been facing each other. However, in the autopsy report, it clearly states that the victim died instantly after being shot from behind.
Eh?
So, as I stated before, there is an undeniable inconsistency in your testimony, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin.
Yeah! But it's the God's honest truth.
It is nice, it is. when we was shot that night.
The shopkeeper had a gun in his hand and we saw it with our own blatant eyes.
Did I hear you right just now? You actually saw Mr. Windibank holding a gun?
Something like that might have slipped out, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have all just heard the admission by these two witnesses. That, on the night in question, they actually saw with their own eyes the victim wielding a gun. Which can only mean that despite their testimony to the contrary, the Skulkin brothers must have encountered the victim in person!
Nash,
Yeah!
Order! 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 Witnesses, explain yourselves at once!
Well, the thing is, it weren't supposed to,
It would seem that my previous warning fell on deaf ears. I made it quite clear that a false witness, would be the death of you.
Am I to understand that you replace the untruths of your original testimony with renewed lies?
Ever so sorry, Governor. Truth is, see, we,
Cut it out, Nash, cut it out! If we blab now, you know what it'll do to us.
He? Who are they talking about? Let me make your position here perfectly clear. You will talk. There is no other option available for you. Oh no, wait, sorry, that was Ringo.
Bruv, come on, the game's up.
But, you'll have our guts for garters.
In case it hasn't quite sunk in yet, no matter how hard you try to hide it, the truth will come out! Oh wait, that was Dang it, it was Nash.
On the night in question, it is now apparent that you brothers met face to face with the victim. I demand you testify again to explain the precise circumstances under which this meeting took place.
Well...
Do we have to?
On pain of death. I suggest you make yourselves fully aware that this is your very last chance to tell the truth.
Alright, so he just got inside the gaff and heard the sigh of release when the geezer showed his mug.
Give me that gun, he bellowed. And then he flew at us like he was possessed. Thought we'd lay that. We'd had it.
Oh, he was doing it to them. Okay.
Oh no, geezer, the bloke was strong as an ox. He chucked me over the counter.
I pulled my gun on him and then he legged it through the door into the back room.
We never had nothing to do with killing him. That's what all happened, I swear.
So now you're telling us that the moments before the victim was killed in the storeroom, you in fact encounter him in the main part of the shop.
Well, yeah. Sorry.
Well, we find ourselves at an interesting juncture. This changes matters considerably.
But, honest, Governor, this time...
This time, Nash, this time we ain't nothing more to hide. Very well, counsel for the defense. You may proceed with your cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. This is it. The moment I've been waiting for. Okay. Well, we're gonna press pretty much everything.
Hold it!
When you say geezer, I presume you mean the victim and proprietor of the shop, Mr. Windibank?
Who else? Sorry, I mean, that's right!
We was keeping a close eye on the entrance to the gap, obviously. But we never thought no one was gonna come out of the back room like that.
The back room being the pawnbrokery storeroom?
Yeah, that must be where he popped up from. Only place could have been.
So it would seem the victim has already in the storeroom when these brothers entered the premises.
Which means Guinea must have been in there at that point as well.
But that doesn't make sense, does it? If Gina threatened Mr. Windibank into the storm with her at gunpoint, then why would he have emerged from the same room all alone when the brothers arrived?
Oh, I don't know.
Did you see the accused at that time?
What? That Motula? Couldn't tell ya.
No way, Cobber. We had bigger fish to fry then. I mean, the old geezer just lost it.
Hold it!
You mentioned that Mr. Windibank shouted those words in your previous testimony too. However, you claimed that you heard him yelling them on the other side of the storeroom door.
Oh, mummy. Did we?
But the truth is, he was shouting those words at you, wasn't he?
Well, yeah.
Was the victim Mr. Windibank wielding a gun at the time?
Was he ever? Blimey, lummy, a great ugly barrel he had, pointed straight at me from this piece.
So what you're saying is, you definitely saw Mr. Windibank with the gun at that time. Is that right?
It is, Gov, it is. Spot on.
Then all of a sudden, he came at us, he did.
It was bedlam. Didn't know who was going for who.
You were clearly all going for each other.
Like Nice said, we thought we had it. I mean,
For an old geezer, he was strong as...
Hold it!
Oh, you chucked him! I just realized what he said there. Yes, I noted that you mentioned the counter in your previous testimony, too.
well, yeah, of course we did.
He knocked over a load of books, a candlestick, and some skull whatnot.
They got tangled in some marionette, what knocked over a picture frame, what knocked them scales on the floor.
So in fact, it wasn't the sound of the gunshot that shocked you and made you knock those things off the counter.
Well, Big Brother went flying over the counter like a gunshot, I can tell you. And the old geezer pinned him.
He did, Nash, he did. If you hadn't been there, the bloke would have flattened me like a bloomin' pancake in seconds.
At the time in question, the alarm was raised at the local police station via a secret cable from the pawnbrokery. There was a button under the counter used to activate it, which was presumably pressed by the victim. That's right. When the brothers fled the scene and back onto the street, they ran straight into the arriving police, didn't they? Ugh.
Poor Mr. Windibank. He did everything he could to protect his shop.
Wow, he really did, though. He went fucking ham. Despite the fact that he likes pulling the gun on himself a lot. Were you intending to shoot Mr. Windibank?
Nah, never. I was just, you know. Looking out for me bruv, weren't I? He was getting flattened, don't forget.
By a man whose shop was being burgled, yes. And then, the man fled into the store when you pointed your gun at him. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. He shoved me away, then run off through that door and shut himself in.
There's something about that last remark. Something that doesn't quite ring true.
I wonder why Mr. Windibank ran away into the storeroom.
What?
Well, according to what everyone was saying, Ginny was in there waiting for him with a gun.
Ah, yes, that's right. Gina allegedly used Mr. Windibank's gun to threaten him and force him to open the storeroom door. In which case, how did the gun end up in Mr. Windibank's hands again?
I have no idea. But that is strange, isn't it?
This little inconsistency could be significant. I should make a mental note of it.
Look, the point is, me and my brother here.
That's right, Nash, that's right. Me and me brother.
We've never had nothing to do with killing him. That's what happened, I swear. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it does sound like that they didn't legitimately have anything to do with it. It's just really weird timing. Well, we might as well press statement 5 just to get more clarification. You say you had nothing to do with it?
Nothing at all.
Nothing, Gov, nothing. The old geezer went and shot himself in the back room, didn't he?
Locked it was from the inside.
We know it because we tried to open it.
But it's a decent door, that one. Good and strong, wouldn't have budge an inch.
So in the end, the situation remains unchanged. Inside the storeroom with the pawnbroker, there was only one other person. The sole person who could possibly have shot the victim, the accused Miss Gina Lestrade.
Ah,
It would indeed appear so. What say you to that, counsel?
I don't know. Was there anyone else apart from Gina who could have possibly shot Mr. Winbank? I mean, there could have been. We had a really weird guy show up at the pawnbroker the other day, so. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin.
What?
What's that look for?
From the moment you admitted that you had encountered the victims face to face that night, the course of this trial changed completely.
It did?
What is your point, my learned friend? The question we must answer is, who could have shot Mr. Windibank? And it is the belief of the defense that the defendant is not the only possible answer at all. You have my attention. In that case, let us return to this plan of the premises. The victim was killed in the storeroom, which was locked from the inside. Those are the facts. So, pray, what other possible answer to the question of who shot the man could there be?
Counsel, you must now preside answers to the court in respect to two conundrums.
2, my lord? Twice as many chances to be right, maybe?
Indeed, namely, from what location did the culprit shoot the victim? And, furthermore, where was the victim at the time?
Understood, my lord.
Are you alright, Bruno?
I'm not entirely sure, but there's one thing I am sure about. If I can prove that there is a credible new alternative to what has happened, it would change Gina's prospects hugely. So now, time for some clarity. Show the court on this plan the answers to the questions posed by his lordship. If you believe someone else could have killed the victim, indicate from where that person could have fired the gun. Well, there is a peephole. So, like, they could have shot through the peephole and just did a thing.
Take that!
The defense believes that the culprit could have shot the victim from this location here. And in answer to the second question, Assuming the culprit fired from the location indicated, where was the victim at the time? Well, he had to be in the storeroom. Because it's locked. So, like, there's a peephole. So they could have just shot him through the back from the... His back could have been facing the peephole, and then the gun could have just shot right at him. From the peephole. The culprit shot the victim from outside the storeroom. Continue. Mr. Wendebank died instantly from a bullet wound in his back. Looking at the stain of blood on the storeroom floor, it doesn't appear that the body was moved after death, which tells us that he was almost certainly shot while he was in the storeroom. However, the crucial point is, where was the shooter when the fatal bullet was fired?
So you are adamant that the shot was fired from outside the storeroom?
Well, according to the Skulkin brothers' earlier testimony,
I pulled my gun on him, and then he legged it through the door into the back room.
if Mr. Wendebank ran away through the door, we have to assume that the door was open at the time.
Ah!
It was at precisely that moment when the victim was fleeing for his life that these brothers had the perfect opportunity to shoot the man in the back once he was inside the storeroom.
Yeah! Come to think of it, do you remember what the prosecutor said at the start of the trial?
Moving on to the findings of Scotland Yard's coroner. His report states that the bullet entered the body on a rising diagonal trajectory. It means the victim was likely shot by someone significantly shorter in height than himself.
Poor man. Shot while he was running as fast as he could to safety.
Ah, of course! He would have been leaning forward. Oh yeah, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. As he was running away. So even if the bullet was fired horizontally, it would still have entered his body on an upward trajectory.
So the culprit in question isn't necessarily someone shorter than Mr. Winterbank.
Objection!
Oh wait, I thought she was going to complete the statement, so I said the dialogue in a very weird delivery. Anyways. I'm sure my learned friend can't have forgotten that the storeroom door was found closed and locked from the inside. You claim the victim was shot as he fled into the room. Do you also claim his corpse was dexterous enough to turn the key in the lock? Ah, but... What if someone else locked the door? Yes! There was someone else who could have locked the storeroom door! Is that so?
Very well then, counsel. Present your hypothesis to the court. In the scenario just described, the defense's assertion is that the victim was shot from outside the storeroom. In which case, who shut and locked the storeroom door from the inside?
Well, it had to be Gina, because... Yeah, it had to be Gina, because, like... In the picture, it showed that she was trying to threaten him with a gun. But very clearly, according to the brother's story, he got the gun back. And the storeroom door was closed in the photo, but it was probably open at the time. So maybe he, like, got threatened by Gina. Gina was trying to, like, threaten him so that he would show her the box. And he was like, oh, wait, hold on, you're kind of misunderstanding. You should put the gun down, girl, like, be reasonable. And then, like, he was like, here, I'll just show you that what was in the box, because I know that's what you're here for. And she's just going in there because she was trying to figure out if Sholmes was telling the truth or not to Iris about him putting the... About what Sholmes was saying to telling Iris that he put away her manuscript inside the box into the storeroom. So, like, Mr. Wenderbank's pretty weird, but, like, he's pretty reasonable. So he probably was just like, put the gun down and I'll show you. So then he got the gun back or whatever from Gina, and then they were both in the back room, because the brothers said that he probably emerged from the back room and scared the shit out of them. So, like, him and Gina were clearly in the back room talking to each other. about like the box, and it was the only thing that was open actually in the storeroom. Now that I think about it, so like they were probably just talking about like, see, it's there. Mr. Sholmes is a reasonable man. He just don't have to doubt him so much. And then while they were talking, the brothers came in. He ran out, threatened them. They threatened him with a gun. He ran back in, got shot. Gina, scared that they would like try to, you know, shoot her too or something, or like fucking block the door. She's fucking afraid. But I don't know why she had the gun in her hand after. Maybe something else happened. Maybe he fell on top of her, and she got knocked out. But I mean, the only logical answer though is that it was Gina who locked the door. But why is she holding? Oh no, she was probably holding the gun, and then like she was kind of like holding up in the storeroom to like protect herself or something. And she was just holding the gun, but she fell asleep when I guess the brothers left, so she was just holding it for defense or something. But that's just my guess. Obviously, the person who locked the door was the only other person inside the storeroom at the time. The defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade.
Objection!
That's absurd! You're suggesting that the accused deliberately engineered the sealed room? For what possible reason? Such actions would only serve to tighten the noose around her neck.
I am inclined to agree, I must say. Well, counsel?
Yes. That's a tricky one, that, isn't it?
Half-baked notions have no place in my courtroom, counsel. Remember that, please.
But of course, Ginny would have locked the door. It almost goes without saying, doesn't it?
It does?
Well, if I was Ginny in that situation, I know I would have locked the door as quickly as I could. I mean, those two burglars had just fired a gun in her direction, hadn't they?
Oh yes! Obviously. Before the two brothers arrived, Mrs. Strayed and Mr. Winterbank were in the storeroom together. Now, I don't know what went on between them at that time, but at some point, Mr. Winterbank must have heard the intruders breaking into his shop and left the storeroom.
Intruders, eh? That's us, bruv.
If your theory is correct, that would leave the accused alone in the storeroom. Yes, it would. Then, probably only moments later, the victim fled back through the storeroom door hoping to escape danger. Bang! Oh wait, but then he was shot with his own gun. They checked the ballistics and they knew that the fire shot from his gun killed him, so, Maybe he left it on the counter or something. Hit in the back by the bullet, Mr. Winterbank fell to the floor where he was, just inside the storeroom. And what we have to ask ourselves now is, what would the defendant have done in that moment?
Ah! I see where you're going with this.
Outside the storeroom was a terrifying killer, who had just murdered Mr. Winterbank. As soon as that thought struck Miss Lestrade, she slammed the door shut and locked it. In order to save her own life!
Hold it!
Oh wait, but there could have been like another dude in there, because they keep saying like, oh man, I hope the guy doesn't figure out that we have to tell the truth. So, yeah, you know what? There could be another person.
But I mean, we ain't the ones who done it.
We ain't. You've got to believe us, I mean, come on. We'd never shoot no one.
Objection!
That's blatantly untrue! I know for a fact that you would. Besides, because before my own eyes, you shot Mr. Herlock Sholmes! There's only one logical conclusion here. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin, you brothers had every opportunity to have been the true perpetrators of Mr. Winterbank's murder!
Well, what does this leave us?
Meant to say it wasn't the pickpocket who pawnbroker after all.
They should have known it was those three brothers. They look shitty as a dense forest.
That was amazing, Runo. All the brothers of the jury seem to be, members of the jury seem to be firmly on your side now.
I know! First time ever! And probably the last.
Well, I think you've done it. Surely they'll have to give a verdict or not.
An admirable effort, my learned friend. What's this now? He's laughing?
You find the situation amusing, Lord Van Zeeks. I myself find the defense's argument most persuasive.
Oh, he's got the wine. I dare say, such chicanery is the bread and butter of the street performers in your provincial eastern nation. But such blatantly malicious conjuring tricks amount to nothing more than an excusable pettifoggery here. What?
The only hypothesis you put forward so ostensibly credibly cannot and will not stand.
Because, you see, it contains a fatal flaw. A fatal flaw? Do you mean to tell me that you're unaware of your logic's failing?
I say, Lord Van Zeeks, might be an idea to explain this bullet conjuring trick or whatever it is to the troops on the ground, eh?
The fatal flaw in my learned friend's argument is really very simple to understand. Assuming you're not too dim-witted to count bullets.
But George, count bullets?
Oh yeah, this is the point I was kind of worried about, thinking about actually.
Oh dear. He'd noticed then.
Huh? What's everybody talking about? Counsel. Yes, sir! Tell the court how many bullets were found at the scene of the crime.
Two bullets.
Correct. The first, that which hit the victim in the back, ending his life. And the second, that which struck the detective Mr. Herlock Sholmes on his arrival at the scene.
Indeed. The defense presented a picture showing the damage caused by the second bullet earlier in the proceedings. The bullet which injured Mr. Sholmes appears to have passed through his body to strike the calendar.
That would have been kind of nuts, though, if it passed through, though. Because it could still be in him, and then... Your lordship's understanding is correct. Furthermore, we know there are 2 firearms involved in the incident. The revolver belonging to the victim, Mr. Windbank, and the Skulkin brothers' revolver. The evidence shows that a single bullet was fired from each gun.
Yes, indeed it does. A single bullet from each.
Now then, my learned friend. You yourself told the court only moments ago that these 2 brothers shot Mr. Herlock Sholmes right before your eyes.
Yes, I did.
Oh my goodness. I think you'll find
that if the single bullet that was fired from the brothers' gun hit Mr. Sholmes, it means,
Windbank not shot by same gun. Stop. Only 1 bullet. Stop.
Exactly. Yes, this Nipponese street performer presented an ostensibly credible argument.
However,
it was never anything more than a diversionary trick with no hope of standing up to scrutiny. Ah!
Ah!
Order! Order! Order!
Goodbye, wine. My leg! Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging the dregs of this hollowed nectar into the public gallery.
Lord Van Zeeks!
But this court needs to open its eyes. The accused, Miss Gina Lestrade, is no ordinary little girl. Despite her young years, she can, regrettably, no longer be described as a juvenile. No, the person in the dock is far from a law-abiding citizen. She has a past riddled with criminal conduct. The truth is, the accused broke into the pawnbrokery on the night in question with loathsome intent. As we can see beyond a doubt in this print which depicts her threatening the victim with the murder weapon. And I have here in my possession one more piece of evidence that the prosecution wishes to present. That disc!
I'll be taking that whatever it is of Miss Gilded's down to the yard, thank you very much.
No, don't! Don't give it to him! It's mine, that is mine!
I'm sorry, miss, but anything belonging to McGilded has to be taken in as evidence now.
Yes, that music box disc. McGilded's music box disc. The very day before the hateful murder of Mr. Windibank, the accused attempted to make off with this article, which clearly doesn't belong to her. And with none of the subtlety of a pickpocket, I might add, but by brute force and brazen impudence.
Good gracious!
Make no mistake, Mulch, any sympathy for the accused on account of her years is misguided and dangerous. There are no depths to which this girl would not stoop if pushed, no crime she would not commit. The court forgets that in fact at its peril.
I see. I think it would be prudent to take this music box disc into evidence counsel as a grim testament to the defendants.
Lord Zeeks,
Inspector Gregson? What? Yeah, what? Yes, Inspector?
we had a meeting yesterday at the yard with the prosecution service, and, I think it was agreed that the disc wouldn't be used as evidence.
What's this all about? Why is the inspector acting strangely? Yeah, why is it evidence? Wait, why wouldn't it not be used? What? That's the first time he's said anything to Van Zeeks at all. Ugh. I am unaware of any such meeting.
But those were the instructions right from the top. The government bigwigs were insistent.
The government? Oh, is this tied to the information leaks? Inspector, I am the prosecutor, and I alone determine how to present my case. Your warning is noted. Thank you. The prosecution wishes to proceed with submitting this disc as evidence, my lord.
Indeed, bailiff?
Alright, so we got disc, and we have blood on it, so we can actually probably test that. Maybe. I don't know how we would go about it. Maybe I have to just examine it in my evidence. The prosecution has established the accused's motive, opportunity, and baseness of character. We're gonna have to do another summation, aren't we? There is nothing more to add. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I await your informed decisions and rest my case. I don't believe it. I had the jury on my side for once. For all 5 minutes.
Oh dear. It wasn't even for 5 minutes, Bruno.
My lord? Oh, him.
My lord, wonder if I might say something at this point? Proceed, Mr. Foreman. Been stumbling about in a bit of a fog up to now. If truth be told, but all of a sudden, the answer's bully obvious to me and my men. There's only one thing for it.
Oh no. Fuck. Yeah, it's gonna be another it's gonna be another freaking examination.
Very well. The court will hear from the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, you will present your leanings as to the defendant's culpability.
Guilty.
Yep.
Guilty.
Yep.
Guilty.
Yep.
Guilty.
Yep.
Guilty.
Yep.
Guilty.
Guilty.
I like his like roughness. The Russian guy.
We have a consensus among the jury, it seems.
When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. I'm not using ellipses properly in my delivery.
That's my line. I wrote that for Hurley. How dare he use it against us?
Don't worry, Iris. I don't think we're finished yet. There's still more to this case than we realize. There must be. Because there's one thing that I'm absolutely certain of. Gina didn't shoot Mr. Winnebank. That's beyond any doubt.
Very well. We will proceed with the second summation examination of the day. Mr. Foreman, are you and the other jurors ready? Goddamn squadron is primed and ready for action, sir. Very good. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have now determined the defendant to be guilty. Once a rogue, always a rogue, I say. Different beat to us law-abiding citizens.
As only 2 bullets were found at the scene, I would say the whole case is done and dusted. You don't need a stereoscope to see the truth here. Every which way you look at it, it was the pickpocket.
I never imagined that simple operation would cause me such grief.
The accused attempted a theft on the previous day. I can see I'm in for a busy day ahead.
I am ballistics expert. I have seen many shootings. There is nothing I do not know about guns, no?
Well, I kind of want to press 4 because, like, he did the operation on Cholmes probably, and then like he might know if there's a bullet in him. Versus the one that's because passing through it seems kind of. I know it's Ace Attorney, but it's pretty absurd for this game comparatively. This game's pretty like reasonable in terms of like sense compared to the normal stuff that you see.
It would seem there is a little remaining room for doubt. I have to admit I was rather bowled over by the argument put forward by the chap in black. But when that fell apart like a house of cards, I saw that I had jolly well been hoodwinked. Well, no more.
Ugh, the whole courtroom is turning against me.
It's not fair.
Iris?
That prosecutor's being mean. Just because Ginny's done some things she shouldn't have done in the past doesn't make her a murderer.
I can't do that voice with like actual good delivery. I'm so sorry. Allow me to savor this fruity vintage while I savor the spectacle of your fruitless debate on the matter. Here's to the truth coming out eventually. Right.
That's enough preamble. Counsel, proceed with the summation examination.
Yes, my lord. Alright. Another summation. Alright, so once a rogue is always rogue, and it's not really much to go off of. There are 2 bullets on the scene. I would say the whole case is done and dusted, but we don't have anything to suggest there's a 3rd one yet. He has nothing really to go off of, but how about him? Would you please stop muttering about things that have nothing to do with this trial, sir? The defendant's life is on the line here.
Well, the thing is, I couldn't really say that it is nothing to do with this trial, to be honest.
Huh?
I mean, there's no question that the man was shot, but the bullet had simply vanished from his stomach. It's quite inexplicable, don't you think?
I almost don't want to ask, but this surgery you've been muttering about all this time, you were operating on...
What was the fellow's name now? Lich? No. Herlock? No, Herlock?
Herlock Sholmes, by any chance?
Yes! Good lord! It was that Herlock fella.
What? You're the surgeon that operated on Mr. Sholmes?
That's right. Using the very last anesthesia techniques, the latest anesthesia techniques, I might add. It was a fairly major up, I can tell you.
This is crazy.
Let me see. The fellow was brought in not long after midnight, if I remember correctly. They say he'd been shot by some criminal or other, so I opened him up like a shot. But the funny thing is, I went over his insides with a fine-tooth comb and couldn't find the bullet anywhere. So I'm afraid I had to throw up my hands and just stitch the fellow back up.
I hate to state the obvious, but...
Yes?
Surely that's because the bullet is still at the scene of the shooting?
The counsel for the defense is correct, as is clearly shown in this photographic print.
Oh my god, Meteorite, thank you for the raid. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Raiders. I'm URAunitB. People call me Drago, because that is actually my Final Fantasy XIV character's nickname, because the full name is Dragostea Dinte. And I'm a variety streamer. I play various games. Right now I'm playing The Great Ace Attorney. I'm actually on the 5th case, in the second half of it, doing the trial side. I'm doing part 2. I'm actually doing I did one part on Tuesday, and I'm usually playing on Fridays with Mr. Kiro Styles. And then, yeah, I'll be actually playing with Kiro tomorrow to do parts 3 and 4 of this trial. But right now I'm trying to finish up part 2. How was your stream, Meteorite? What'd you do? I can do this, actually. Hold on. Boop, boop, doop, 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 doop. Oh, God, my API. Nah! Played the new Valkyrie Elysium. Ooh. Is it fun? Are you having a good time with it? 20 endings? Oh, dear God. Well, I hope you're having a great time. Very hack and slash? Hack and slash is fun. Well, Raiders, I hope you you're in for me voice acting, which may or may not be appealing, but we'll see. Sit back, relax, and I'll just be reading dialogue. And probably rambling to myself periodically about what the hell's going on. The bullet that the Skulkin brothers fired at Mr. Sholmes hit him in the stomach region, then exited his body and lodged into the shop wall where the calendar was hanging by the door. I think you'll find it's really quite simple if you just consider the problem three-dimensionally.
Ha! Who do you think I am, son?
Well, juror number 4 is about the best I can do.
As soon as I saw the wound to the man's stomach, I flipped him over.
Like a pancake? Are you saying that you checked his back?
Of course I did! and there wasn't a trace of injury. No sign that the bullet had left the body at all.
Okay, good to know. So, yeah, so there is a third bullet somewhere, which means there's a another person that we're not sure of, isn't it? What?
That's the point! The only logical conclusion was that the bullet was still somewhere in the man's innards. Which is exactly why I set about slicing him up. And I'm still none the wiser, even now. How many times do I have to say it? Can somebody please explain how it happened? Can someone please solve the mystery?
It's almost as much of a mystery as how this jury was put together. Where's the expert when you need one? Oh, funny you should say that. This man claims to be a ballistics expert.
Objection.
Those two statements clearly contradict the idea that all I do is pit jurors against each other.
Ooh, a ballistics expert. Pitting,
On the night in question, Mr. Sholmes was... How very convenient. Honestly, yeah. On the night in question, Mr. Sholmes was shot by one of the Skulkin brothers. But since there was no sign of an exit wound on his back, we must assume the bullet didn't pass through him. However, no bullet was found lodged in Mr. Sholmes' body either. Furthermore, a bullet was found lodged in the wall of the shop where Mr. Sholmes was shot. Juror number 6.
Hello, my name is Villain. Pleased to meet you.
This apparent contradiction in the facts that is so clearly troubling juror number 4. Are you able to explain the mystery?
I have seen very similar situation in Motherland. It was night. There was blizzard.
I'm going from my really bad French accent.
I was running away along mountain road in freezing cold. Golly. The snow is piling high on both sides of road. It was very narrow and dangerous. My pursuers had hunting rifles and they were on dog sleds.
Mental note. Don't ask too many questions.
I was shot from behind and I fell down in snow. And the situation was very similar to what I hear today from doctor. They could not find bullet in my body. And no sign of, how do you say, exit wound. Then where did the bullet go? Bullet never hit me. Well, if it never hit you, why did you fall down? Bullet hit frozen wall of ice very, very close to my side.
What?
One small piece, very sharp, broke away from lump of ice and pierced my body.
Oh god, weird accent going out, sorry.
It made deep wound that looks just like bullet wound. Good gracious! Of course, piece of ice quickly melted inside me. And that is solution to mystery of disappearing bullet.
What?
But that doesn't answer the question at all! The shooting happened in a pawnbroker's shop. Not some snowy mountain road in another country!
Just an idea. But you might not be looking at exactly the same scenario here.
Bruno, where exactly was Hurley shot again?
Well, according to the report, in his stomach. Sort of around this area, I think.
Well, that's precisely where he always wears a little pouch on his belt.
A pouch? Actually, I might have noticed something like that.
Yes, a pouch. It's where he keeps the glass vials of very dangerous chemicals that he uses in his investigations.
What? Really? That's convenient. Doctor! Where's the pouch Mr. Sholmes was wearing?
Well, the fellow had nothing like that on his person when he arrived at the hospital, as far as I remember.
If I may. Lord Van Zeeks? While I realize it is forbidden for the prosecution to interject during a summation examination, I should inform the defense that I have the pouch in question in the antechamber outside the courtroom. Sorry? As I understand it, when the police arrived on the scene, I found Mr. Sholmes injured. They removed the pouch in order to assess the wound.
Ah, thank goodness! I thought I was getting forgetful for a moment.
Since then, it has been in my safekeeping, along with all other evidence relating to the case. I can personally vouch for the fact that it has not been touched since the incident occurred.
Very well. While extremely unconventional during a summation examination, I must demand the prosecution presents the item in question with all speed. Bring forth Mr. Herlock Sholmes' pouch.
Okay, so this should be insightful.
I see. So this is the pouch worn by Mr. Sholmes on the night in question, is it?
Look at that! One of the files is broken, and the leather around it is scorched black. It's almost as if the file exploded.
Exploded?
So, that night, the bullet from the Skulkin brothers' gun struck Mr. Sholmes' pouch.
And it was the glass file exploding that caused the fellow's injury.
This bullet did not penetrate victim, but was deflected into Waller's shop. Oh, okay. A delightfully complex aroma.
Well, it would appear one mystery has been solved at least.
Though, it has no bearing on the truth of this case. The bungling and burgling brothers shot the detective, and the accused shot the pawnbroker. The pertinent facts of the case remain unaltered.
But at least the mystery is solved. I can sleep easy tonight. Thank you, young man.
Thanks, Santa. Duh. Thank you very much. Glad I could help.
Due to its bearing on the conundrum just solved, the court will sequester this scuffy pouch's evidence.
Hurley's pouch isn't scuffy.
Okay, so we have the pouch now.
Now, the summation examination. It would appear the defense is somewhat struggling to alter opinion. Yes?
Please, my lord, a little more time. After all, that's a new piece of evidence. It could be a valuable clue, and you can't afford to overlook anything here, Renosuke. There's still a way to turn this around. Somehow. I'm sure of it! Okay, so we've got like a few pieces of evidence that we have to kind of go over that we haven't really gotten a chance to. So let's go do that. We gotta get going, but good luck with the case. Thank you, Sea Wonder, or I guess Kana. Thank you for coming. Hope you had a good time while you were here. Have a good night. Examine all the evidence. I shall do as I must. Okay, so we have blood. We're gonna spray this shit.
Oh, Reno, look! This is blood.
Yes, you're right. Just a small smear, but definitely blood. And we know it was done by the fucking weird guy who likes doing his dance moves in open, but I mean, he was cool. Actually, I feel as though I might have noticed that before.
Haha! Then it's my time to shine again. I thought I'd be waiting forever. Alright, hold still with that disc, Bruno.
Can we just get this done quickly, Iris?
In a flash.
Be green, be green, be green, be green, be green. Green? Ooh, shit, son!
Oh, a lovely bright green shade again.
We know that the weirdo did it! We know the weirdo touched this disc! We know that he was the one who got shot! Wait, that color.
What is it?
It's just... that green. It's not the first time we've seen that color, is it? Yes, 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 yes. We know it was Eggert. We know that Eggert... We know that the blood sample is from Eggert now. But it probably won't let me look. It probably won't let me find out until something. So Eggert got shot! Or at least scuffed. That's a lot of blood, though. Okay, let's look at the pouch. I'm glad this is going, like, a lot more smooth. A lot smoother than initially. Oh, there's the bullet! I see it! This file has been smashed to pieces. Presumably, this is where the bullet struck.
As soon as the bullet hit the chemical in the file, there would have been a really big explosion.
An big explosion?
Well, Hurley's potions and chemicals are amazingly useful for the investigation work he does. But they're also quite tricky to handle. Safely, at least. They're very dangerous.
Oh.
I'm sure that when this file broke, the chemical inside would have ignited.
Note to self. Always walk on the right side of films in the future. The left is the danger zone. Right into the danger zone. I'm right into the danger zone. Wait, does it let me even... Okay, cool. Zoomed in, right? It's really scorched badly just here.
Oh, the strap is broken. Look.
This must be where the bullet hit, then.
Let me see.
Let me examine the bullet, damn it. It's right there. What the? Iris, look! Behind where the broken file was. Do you see it?
That's the Skogan Brothers bullet.
What a stroke of luck that it hit the pouch. This is an amazing discovery. What this means is, there were 3 bullets fired at Windibanks that night.
We found exactly what the juror was talking about. The 3rd bullet.
It's time to press that juror again, I think. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Hold it, ma'am. It's the number of bullets that has you convinced.
Only 2 bullets were fired, and the 2 guns that fired them must have been examined by the police. When the parlor maid asks me how many are invited for dinner, I always tell her to count the table settings.
Well, that's logical, I suppose.
Although,
Yes?
sometimes after dining, crockery does go missing. 1 or 2 guests rather like the fine china.
Oh, that's not good. Does your employer dine with thieves?
So I suppose, if there was another bullet somewhere of which we were unaware, I'd have to reconsider my position.
A 3rd bullet somewhere on the scene? Could that possibly believe? I can prove it now! Allow me to show you then. The 3rd bullet! Yes, 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 yes.
Take that!
Here it is. We discovered it just now. Yes! On the night in question in Windibank's pawnbrokery, another bullet was fired!
Hold it!
What is this new trickery, you Nipponese conjurer? Where did you find that bullet? It was lodged inside Mr. Sholm's pouch. Apparently you guys didn't look very well, you dumb pieces of... I mean... What? This pouch was removed from around Mr. Sholm's waist before he was taken to hospital. And since then it has been touched by no one.
Do you mean to say the shot fired by the Skulkin brothers that night?
Yes, as your lordship has surmised, it hit this pouch.
But that makes no sense whatsoever. We already know the whereabouts of the bullet fired at Mr. Sholmes. It's clearly visible on this photographic print.
2 guns from the scene have already been submitted into the court record as evidence.
Yes, that of Mr. Windibank and that belonging to the Skulkin brothers.
The examination of both guns revealed that only a single bullet had been fired from each. Oh god, I gasped so hard.
But that must have mean...
That's right. We now know that on the night in question, 3 bullets were fired. However, only 2 bullets were fired from the guns recovered from the crime scene. And until that incontrovertible inconsistency is somehow explained, we cannot and must not pass judgment.
Order! 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 While the summation examination remains incomplete, the court has been presented with new facts. Facts that would appear to shake the very foundations upon which the case against the defendant has been built. As my prerogative in this situation, I hereby temporarily suspend the summation examination. By Jupiter!
What?
Bailiff, bring the witnesses back to the stand at once!
Oh, neat. Oh, okay, we're not doing a to be continued yet. Interesting. We're starting here. Sorry as I do some adjustments on my side to keep track of stuff. Alrighty. Perfect. Okay.
Witnesses,
Governor!
were you listening to proceedings while the defense carried out the summation examination? We was, Governor, we was!
Perhaps we can dispense with the tedious preamble.
Simply answer this one question.
A 3rd bullet has been identified at the scene of the crime. What do you make of that?
Make of it, Govy. I don't make nothing of it.
Is it one of yours?
Go blimey, Gov. Go blimey. Not a chance.
In that case, did you have an accomplice?
What? Hey, what? Never. The Skulkin brothers work alone.
It's just the 2 of us! Guess our trademark!
How soon we forget poor Sulky. Only 2 of the bullets from the crime scene originated from the firearms we have in evidence. The 3rd bullet was fired from another gun. Where is it?
Lommy, that's an head scratcher.
Counsel for the defense.
Yes?
I should like to hear your thoughts regarding these new developments. The 3rd bullet and the mysterious missing firearm from whence it came.
Thinking back over all the testimony we've heard and all the evidence we've seen, I think I'm starting to form a picture of what really happened that night. My lord, I think it's clear what this 3rd bullet tells us about the Skulkin brothers. They had a secret accomplice. on that night at Mr. Winterbank's pawnbrokery. The brothers must have been working with a third man. The witnesses are clearly doing their best to cover up the existence of this accomplice. But the evidence all points to the fact that there was someone else present! Someone carrying a gun!
Objection!
Oh boy. An accomplice, you say? Pigswill. These protracted proceedings have already forced us to endure 2 summation examinations. Yet, in all that time, there has been not a murmur of a third man. If this apparently wraith-like being exists. The court must be shown hard evidence. Without it, this fantasy will be crushed. Ah! The prosecution demands answers on 2 counts. Firstly, proof. Evidence that this accomplice was ever at the scene of the crime. And secondly, the identity of this spurious character. The Skulkans are lying, I know that. But, how can I ascertain the identity of the person they're hiding?
Well, counsel?
I'm supposed to prove the existence of this accomplice, and reveal the person's identity, even. In response to the prosecution's demands, my lord, the defense is... I'm pretty sure I'm ready to present answers. The defense is ready. I believe I can provide all the answers the prosecution demands. So, my Nipponese friend, despite the swimming eyes, you seem to think... Despite the swimming eyes, you seem to think that you have something to say. Rinosuke's eyeballs. Yeah, the little nerve. He's so nervous. This promises to be interesting. I have to push forward now. There's no other option. I need to use every single piece of evidence available to me, if it will make a difference.
In that case, counsel, I would ask you to present the evidence without delay. On the night in question, in the moments leading up to the death of the victim, what proof have you that there was a third intruder present at the crime scene?
Well, we have this blood sample, sir.
Take that!
The evidence is right here, in this portfolio.
By Jove! That portfolio again, is it?
Do you expect the court to rifle through your papers itself? Be more specific. You claim one of those blood samples proves the presence of this third intruder. Well, which one is it? Well, technically it's sample 4. I mean, technically it's also the other photo, but I guess since they know that it exists, it's better to show that this is another blood sample. This is the blood sample that proves it!
You perplex me, counsel, by looking so pleased with yourself despite this quite displeasing answer.
You would do well to take your irrelevant specimens of blood and go back to whence you came. Oh, I am getting a penalty. Oh, shit. Oh, I was supposed to present 1 first, huh? Damn it. And I'll see to it that you go down in this court's history as an equally irrelevant specimen. I'm gonna have to save a lot when I'm doing this tomorrow with Kara.
Well, I think it takes a certain genius to give a completely wrong answer, personally.
The kind of genius I could really do without. Time to think again. Alright, let's pick the correct one, apparently. My bad. This one so that we can pretty much say it's not Sholmes.
What am I looking at here? There appears to be some green paint or such like around the bullet hole in the middle of the calendar.
It's a blood stain, my lord.
A blood stain?
Green blood? Curious even for you. Is the court to understand that the intruder was some unhuman creature? It's something developed by Mr. Sherlock Sholmes.
Ah, the great detective. New invention. Stop! Not yet appeared in stories. Stop! Is this, you say?
Nope, wrong voice.
Is this, you say? It doesn't have a name yet, though. This fog sprays a chemical that reacts with the different elements in people's blood to change its color.
Different elements of people's blood?
Yes, everyone's blood is slightly different, you see, because it's made up of different elements. So by seeing what color it changes to, you can tell in a flash whose blood it is. Oh, that brings a whole extra dimension to looking at blood. Talk of blood in courtroom. Stop! Very exciting! Stop!
Now she's really going at it. As an example, this one shows the blood of the victim, Mr. Windibank.
Ah, a striking blue.
Yes, so you see the green color of this bloodstain on the calendar shows that somebody else was shot in the main part of the shop.
Now, hold your fire there, young man. Could it be from some unrelated It could be from some unrelated incident, couldn't it?
No, it's not unrelated. The date showing on the calendar is the date on which Mr. Windibank was killed.
By golly!
Therefore, we can assume that whoever was shot on the same day.
Then, whose blood is it?
Well, the Skulkin brothers in the stand don't appear to be suffering from any gunshot injuries. Which means it must be the blood of somebody else. The third intruder, in fact.
Objection!
Whose identity in the court is still waiting to hear, or the identity of the court still waiting to hear. You can't delay this any longer, my learned friend. Who is this alleged third intruder? Why, it is... Oh, there's no picture of me. I was gonna be... It was... Well, sir, it was Susato Mikotoba! She was the murderer all along! Anyways, no. It was Eggs Benedict here. The man's name is Eggert Benedict.
Eggert Benedict? Who on earth are you talking about, Counsel?
He paid a visit to Windibank's pawnbroker in the afternoon before the incident took place. When the accused attempted to deceive the pawnbroker into releasing this article into her possession. That's right. The man identified by the defense, Mr. Eggert Benedict, then attempted to take the article from the defendant by force. Broker.
Yes, sir!
Oh man, it's been a while since I've done this too. I believe this filthy pickpocket thief has just redeemed an article from you, no?
Yes, yes,
Alright, here's more like a
indubitably, sir.
kind of voice, sorry. The article in question belongs to me. I demand it to be returned at once.
No, that's a lie. What are you trying to pull?
Give me back my overcoat, you wastrel. And needless to say, any music docs discs too. Inspector Gregson was there at the time, and can attest to what happened. In the end, it was the inspector himself who took the disc.
Can you corroborate this account, Inspector?
Yes, my lord. That's more or less what happened. And in the interest of being thorough, I asked Windibank for a print showing the fella. Taken from one of his red-handed recorder governesses.
Yes, that's him talking to Mr. Windibank that morning.
And you claim this man is the brother's accomplice?
Yeah, Renosuke, you're no longer doing the awkward slaps with your hand. I'm so proud and happy. Well, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin,
Never seen the geezer before in my life.
On my life, Gov, on my life. Never seen him. Well, somewhat unsurprisingly, it appears our witnesses disagree with the assertion.
I'm sure your lordship recalls my learned Nipponese friend's actual assertion, which was that he could prove the identity of the alleged accomplice. Yes, and I can.
Then, show us the evidence already.
I agree. We must see proof that the clean-cut gentleman in the photograph is the filthy criminal you say he is.
This is the last piece of evidence. I've had a feeling that something has been missing in this trial from the very start. But now, I'm going to drag it kicking and screaming into the courtroom.
Are you ready to present your answer to the court then, counsel?
Yes, my lord. The defense will present the evidence now. Proof that the man pictured in the photographic print was in fact the person struck by the third bullet.
Take that!
That proof is right here, in this portfolio.
Good gracious, counsel. Does that portfolio contain the answers to every question posed?
I see you share my interest in claret-colored liquids, my Nipponese friend, but... Enough! The court demands to see further evidence. Which blood sample proves the man you identified was the one shot by the third bullet at the scene of the crime? Why, it's this one, sir! As I mentioned before, on the afternoon of the day in question, the defendant attempted, deceitfully, admittedly, to reclaim this disc from Winterbanks.
Which is when the aforementioned Eggert Benedict appeared on the scene, I believe. This man then attempted to purloin the article from the defendant's position, no?
That's correct, my lord. I myself was present at the time. It was following this that a minor incident occurred. Oh god.
Why, of course, sir. Here is the disc for you.
Very well. Then I shall bid you farewell. Say goodbye to style.
Wait a minute, that disc is mine.
Ah, what do you think you're doing, you little tramp? You've drawn blood, you filthy animal. Being a music disc, it has countless small but sharp metal protrusions over its surface. Those protrusions caused Mr. Benedict's finger to bleed, and the resulting smear of blood is still visible on the disc now.
Goodness, a blood stain, is it?
My assistant and I have just analyzed the bloodstain here, in this very courtroom.
Using my trusty fogger gun.
Yes, and we added the results to the portfolio.
Hi. Oh, sir.
It's green.
Who was 5? Let's see. Stereoscope man. I mean it's the mouse? Yeah, it was him. Thank you. Thank you.
It's exactly the same color as blood around the blood around the calendar.
Thank you. The evidence is conclusive. The man calling himself Mr. Eggert Benedict, who was in Winterbanks earlier that day, is the accomplice who was present at the scene of the crime that same night.
So there was someone else.
Look at those two brothers now, they're sweating bullets.
Oi, what are you talking about? It's boiling here.
My lord, it is the opinion of the defense that Mr. Eggert Benedict should be summoned to the courtroom to testify.
It would certainly seem that we can ill afford to ignore this gentleman's apparent presence.
Objection!
This has gone on long enough now.
This flagrant ignorance of the mechanics of law. Sherlock Sholmes, you say? Yes, I've heard the name. The protagonist in a series of short stories for the vulgar classes. A god of detection or some such. And now you employ chemical substances devised by this fantastical persona in the highest court in the land? Do you expect us to take you seriously? The samples made by this plaything are not fit to be called evidence. So the bloodstain turned a shade of green. What of it? Here's to you successfully proving that no other blood in the world would turn the same color.
Well... Oh, he's doing the foot!
And pray, do not even think of suggesting that we should take Mr. Sholmes' word for it.
Is he right?
Is Mr. Sholmes...
Oh, I don't know. I mean, he's a great detective.
What are you talking about? You can't let him... I knew it would come to this. Of course, Mr. Sholmes' invention isn't going to be recognized by any official body. But what other choice did I have?
I'm just remembering what Father Christmas over there said before. About how he was temporarily suspending the summation examination.
In
other words, the examination isn't over yet, is it?
Good grief! What did you just say, young girl?
And in a summation examination, the decision as to whether or not the trial continues is in the hands of the 6 jurors, isn't it?
Yeah, the Sikh's just like, ah, shit.
So the way I see it, it doesn't matter what certain other people think of Hurley's invention. At least, not for now.
Yes! She's right!
Young lady, you have quite the devious mind.
It really just comes down to one thing. Whether these ladies and gentlemen of the jury are convinced by what you say, Runo. Is that about right, would you say? Or did I misunderstand something?
Unbelievable. Mr. Sholmes' partner is a force to be reckoned with.
Iris Wilson. Iris Wilson. Sharpshooter.
After that shrewd precis of the situation from an entirely unexpected source, I must be acknowledged that the previous summation examination has yet to reach its conclusion. This is absurd! Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court now looks to you for your final leanings in this matter. As proud citizens of Her Majesty's Britain, I'm sure you will come to fair and just conclusions. So then, state your final decisions in turn, please.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty. Guilty.
What?
Guilty.
What?
Not guilty.
What? 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 Old man, why?
Who called guilty and 4 called not guilty? Such is the outcome of the summation examination.
Oh, he was 6. Oh, yeah, you're right. Right, I forgot the type lighting lady. I mean, not type rating, the telegraph lady in this case, I guess.
My lord, with all due respect, this is an outrage. The prosecution refuses to accept this decision.
On what grounds?
If these jurors are persuaded by some half-baked concoction devised by a pretender to real police work, then they are too ignorant to be trusted with the judgment of anyone's guilt.
Oh, hi, Sonny. Welcome, welcome. I'm having lots of fun. There was a point where I did get completely stumped for like at least 10 or 20 minutes, and I'm pretty sad about that. But I mean, it is what it is. I don't want to spoil, but I wanted to support. I appreciate you coming by, Sonny. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, it's okay. I understand that about spoilers. This is also only like the first game and 2, and like from what I heard, this one like cliffhangers into the next one. So like, yeah, pretty good to stay spoiler free if you don't want to get spoiled. We got the second one. Yeah. So what they actually did was for the English release, they got the first game and the second game, and they combined it into Chronicles for States. Yeah, so it's both games in one. It's great. You only have to get one game. Thank God. Yeah. Otherwise, it ends on like a cliffhanger, from what I heard, or not, or it ends on a note where it for sure it has to continue. So it's like, damn. If they didn't do both, then everyone would be suffering and crying. Just like a certain investigations game. But enough of that.
I'm sorry, Lord Van Zeeks, but the outcome of this summation examination cannot be ignored. This trial will continue. Ah. Ah. Nevertheless, we find ourselves in a rather awkward situation. The defense has very reasonably requested the subpoena of a new witness. But sadly, I fear that will be impossible.
What?
The name the gentleman gave for himself, Eggert Benedict, is quite clearly false.
I don't believe it. Just when I'd imagined to prove the man was there that night. Wait, who's talking? Could I say something?
Who was that, please? Who spoke?
Oh, her. Really? Her? Okay.
It was me, my lord.
Juror number 5?
What have you to say, madam?
If possible, Inspector...
Huh? Me? Ma'am?
I wonder if you might show the photographic print to me again. The one in which the gentleman was shown.
Ah, right. Yes. This one, you mean? Of Mr. Benedict? So you know him, ma'am?
Yes. There's no doubt in my mind.
Juror number 5. You don't mean to say... You know this man?
Yes, I know him.
What?
No. Good gracious!
What the fuck? Why? How does she know him?
Order! 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 Juror number 5. How on earth?
I am a communications officer. Stop!
As we can clearly see.
That gentleman in the photograph is... Stop. Also communications officer. Stop! He works in my office.
Stop? What? He works in your office? And he's trying to get the disc back, which is... maybe secret communications. Huh.
A very talented operator, in fact. Stop. He should be in the communication station now. Stop. Tapping away on the telegraph. Stop.
This doesn't seem right somehow. I can't put my finger on why, but it doesn't feel right.
I suppose we all imagined the accomplice would be some sort of hardened criminal. It's a bit unexpected to find out that he was a respectable job by day, whatever he gets up to at night.
Yes, I suppose that's it. I suppose that's why I felt something was wrong.
If the gentleman is at the London's communication station, we should be able to subpoena him within the hour. Lord Van Zeeks, if you please.
Yes, my lord.
Make the necessary arrangements with all haste.
As your lordship bids.
The court will recess for 1 hour. When the new witness arrives, we shall reconvene to hear the gentleman's testimony. Inspector Gregson.
Ah, yes, my lord.
I should like to hear from you specifically about events at the pawnbrokery on the day in question. Come to my chambers during the recess.
Yes, sir, my lord.
Very well. Court is adjourned until 1:40 p.m.
Only 140. Okay. Wow. Time has really gone by. And we're at to be continued. We finished part 2 today. Let's go. Wahoo, Mamma Mia. Speaking of that, the Mario movie though. Hello, ayo. Sorry. Alright. And so, we finished part 2 of the case. That is where we're going to end for tonight. As 2.5 hours, and I think about 20 of that spent being completely stumped for like a really long time until I figured out what I was supposed to do. But, yeah, good session today. I was really excited about how things were clicking on the crime scene. So I think I have like an idea of what's happening for what happened there. It's like, Gina came, she threatened with the gun. He convinced her to put it down. He took her to the back room because we know that in the storage room, the case was open, and it was the only thing that was touched, in the scene when we went to investigate. So he was probably showing her that the manuscript for Iris's book was there, and Sholmes wasn't lying, to prove it to her that Sholmes is not being a liar or whatever. And while they're in the back room, the two brothers came in with the third person. When the bank heard them coming in, so he came out, threatened them with the gun, basically almost like took out one of the brothers by just like scaring the shit out of him, threw him over the table, in fact, or something like that effect. One of the brothers pulled out a gun. He ran away into the storeroom, and from what I can tell, the brother didn't shoot his gun. And then, third party was there, probably. Shot Windybank, or maybe not yet. Maybe that's after. But then, Sholmes came in when the three of them were there. And with Naruhodo. Well, actually, no, there was more time. It was just them by that point. So I think Eggert probably left by then. So, he tries to flee, tries to lock the door. Eggert just goes, "The fuck are you doing, my bro?" And he opens the door, shoots him through the window. Gina has the gun. Oh, no, wait. There's actually a lot more to this. Okay, maybe I don't want to dissect it all now, but I think I have a good idea what happened. So, it's just gonna be, I guess we're just gonna see where it goes from there. And, yeah. So tomorrow, just to give a rundown of things, I will be doing this, just to give a reminder of the rundown. Tomorrow I'm playing again with Kiro Styles. Kiro will be helping me voice that, and we'll be covering parts 3 and 4 to finish off this first half of the series. And then after that, I'm probably going to take like a short break because next week I have a lot of things coming up, so I can't really do much. Well, it's mostly the end of the week. So the end of the week I'm very busy. And then like, so I'll probably take a while before I start going into the second game. Plus, I also have a Nuzlocke run that I started on Monday of Pokemon Shining Pearl, and I need to continue that in bits. I was originally going to continue it on Saturday, but I might actually be busy trying to work on something else for something that's happening on Sunday. Also, yeah, other stuff is also happening Sunday. But yeah, I'll be putting that off probably until Monday, because I think I'm still technically free on Monday. I think it's not until maybe Wednesday or Thursday. I'm probably busy, but yeah. So yep, just tomorrow, continuing parts 3 and 4, finishing off finishing off the first game, and then next week Nuzlocke, and then break for a while, and then I don't know when I'll be resuming on the second game. Probably not right away, because I kind of want to make sure that I get through my Nuzlocke quickly, but I will be I'll figure out when. I'll put up when on my Twitter when I'll probably be restarting starting through the second game. But yeah, I appreciate everybody coming out tonight and hanging out. I hope it was entertaining. I know I don't have the other half with the Miss Kiro with me to like fill out the rest of the voices, but yeah, I think I don't know. I think I'm doing an okay job. I don't really have anyone that I can see on tonight, so I think I'll just end stream with no raid tonight. But yeah, thank you all for coming, and yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow at about 6. No, not 6:30. So that's my time. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow at 9:30. Yeah, 9:30. I'll be on tomorrow with Kiro at 9:30 p.m. PDT or so. So, I mean, it'll be on Twitter. I'll post something tonight to like as a reminder. But yeah, thank you all for coming, and yeah, see you all next time. Good night.